Okay, guys. All right, this is a practice session, right? It's called a soft toss. Okay. I'm tossing from 12 foot out, stick man right. My grip is to stack dice. Okay. I'm tossing dice underneath the alligator skin for better numbers. And that's what I'm going to be trying to do today. So, okay. Okay, guys, we're going to about to throw this dice down the runway. But before we do that, I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about trying to hit underneath the alligator skin. This is the alligator skin right here. This is what we don't want to hit. I know it's going to be difficult shots, and then dice will go anywhere from bouncing here to here, bouncing here to here. You're going to hit the alligator skin. My whole purpose of this video is to try to show you that there could be an easier way to avoid that by going underneath the alligator skin. This little section right here. Okay, this section right here is what you want to hit. And to the box, man, it's going to look like you hit the wall because if you come in softly, like maybe a couple of rolls, less spins, okay, it's going to probably hit underneath here. And then it's probably going to land around here. All right. This is what I love about throwing to a box like this. Okay. By throwing into a box like this, it's going to help you like understand, what areas, you're centering the area that you want to throw it on. Now, everybody has a different method. Some people have boxes or craps tables, real craps tables, where this section rounds out, okay, with the alligator skin. Same here, it rounds out with the alligator skin. And that's great. That's great. And they'll practice like corner shots to get better numbers and whatnot. I've seen the videos and they're great. They're fantastic. My practice session today is because of the fact that I lean over the table, it's like this, like right here, right? And you're leaning down, right? You're leaning down and you know, so when I'm leaning down, I'm going to be going forward a little bit, right, with my toss. And I'm hoping that it's going to come in like this. It doesn't have to be a 45-degree angle, but just enough air on it where the boxman's not going to complain about the fact that, hey, I need that dice up in the air. So it's going to come in like this, right? Doesn't have to be pretty. I'm not looking to spin the dice where you see a rotation of numbers. I just wanted to roll maybe a couple of times and go underneath here. I want to avoid this because if you hit this, it's going to be all over the place and you're going to get a 7 like right now, like that happened. Okay, if you hit underneath, you could get better numbers like that, right? You're going to get like an 8. These are difficult shots. Okay, there's nothing easy. This is why you have to practice. There really is nothing easy about this shots. I'm going to be marking the numbers in blue. And then when the 7 comes out, it'll be in red. Okay. So this way you get a better indication if this is worth attempting to practice at home. Okay. I would suggest you do soft tossing, maybe going a different set of dice. I use a 6-3 on top. Let me just show you exactly what I mean. Okay. So I'm setting the dice here. Okay. And this is what I use. You could see the 5-1 there to give me a 6. Okay. On top, I'm going to have a 6-3. Okay. That's going to give me the 9. Then I'm going to rotate again. It's going to give me 2 and a 6 to give me an 8. I'm going to rotate again. This should be the bottom part, right? It's going to give me the 1, the 4 to give me a 5. Then on the inside, you're going to see the 8 again, 3 and a 5. Okay. Then let me rotate it one more time because when I toss, these are the numbers that are going to be on top, the 6-3. All right. That's my dice set. And this is the way I pick it up. Okay. That's my grip. Okay. So I hope you guys can see that. Now, with that said, when I practice at home, I don't know why, but I get a lot of 6s and 8s. Okay. When I go to the casino, I don't know, for some reason, maybe because the table's different, right? It has that bouncier thing. And I get a lot of field numbers. This is the only reason why I stick with this dice set. If you have a different dice set, if you have the Hardways, a very popular dice set, or you have the 3V set, or you toss, your grip is different. If you're still using the 3 finger grip where you hold it at the pips, I'm not good with that. I don't have those stubby fingers. And when I first started practicing 5 years ago, they will fall out of my hand because I kept putting in my head that I got to hold the dice loosely and they would just fall. So I changed that whole habit, and I've been practicing and playing with a stack grip. I just feel comfortable. There's many ways to throw the stack grip. I've seen guys throw it like this, and that's excellent. I don't have a problem with guys doing it. I've seen that. I've tried it myself. I had some success, but recently I've been having better success throwing it like that, like this instead of sideways. But if you want to try sideways, go right ahead. All right, let's get this practice session done, going. Hopefully you guys understood what I was trying to get at. Let me just erase what I wrote down over here. Okay, let me pause this for a second so I don't waste your time. Okay, guys, I'm going to set the dice 6-3 on top. There'll be no editing, only when I tell you guys that I'm going to pause the video. So let's get this going and let's see how we do from here. Hopefully you guys can understand what the soft toss means. 12 foot out, stick man right. Here we go. Okay, that hit the alligator skin, but we ended up with a favorable number, and that was a 4. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see the numbers. I will be showing you the numbers. When I get a 7, I'll just show you the 7. It'll be marked in red, every other number in blue, I mean. So that's a 4 to start off. Sorry about that. That was a softer toss, and yet we got a 4 again. Now, this one hit underneath the alligator skin. This was a tough throw. It almost came in like a line drive almost. I don't know if the box man would have accepted it. This one did not hit the wall, but the illusion that it looked like it hit the wall, the box man sometimes overlooks it, accepts it, and play continues. At Atlantic City Resorts, they're great with that. Mount Airy Casino in the Poconos Mountains in Pennsylvania, they're pretty good with that. So I've had success with that. Okay. All right. So that's 2 4s back to back. Remember, this is a practice session. Doesn't necessarily translate to the casino floor. Okay, that one hit. This one hit the alligator skin. This one did not. In fact, it didn't even touch the wall. But we're going to accept it because it was so close that it created that optical illusion to the box man. So that's a 9. Believe me, it's not easy to try to soft toss. Remember, I'm a field numbers thrower, so that's 3 straight field numbers. Again, it's a practice session. So lots of times sometimes you're going to have a bad practice session. Please do not quit. Continue practicing. 12 foot out is not easy. Sometimes you just got to lean forward and then pray that it comes in softly. I don't want no spins on my dice. And that's another 9. So we have back-to-back 4s and back-to-back 9s. And like I said, not every throw is going to be perfect. Okay. And the other thing to realize and notice is that when you're tossing, right, you just want to get muscle memory out of it more than anything, right? So when you get to the casino, your muscle memory is like, hey, if I keep throwing it the same way at home at the casino, hopefully those numbers will come out. That's a hard 10. And it is not easy to toss dice. I've been to casinos the past 3 years. It's a game that I've really vested in lots of my time. I'm retired, so I get to do this every day pretty much. And on the days that I go to the casinos, I do the same thing. Not going to count that one because it did not hit the wall. This one did, but this one landed so short. But I'm going to tell you something. Look at the number that came out. Now, don't argue with the box man. This is a 7. This means I crapped out if I was at the casino, right? But you know what? I'm going to write that down as a 7. This is a practice session, but this is a crap out. Okay? So you don't want to be throwing 7s, right? And because of the fact that that dice never reached the wall, he's going to count that, right? Because why? Casinos are not in the business of making you money. They're in the business of taking your money. And even though the box man probably busts your nutsack about hitting the alligator skin, first thing you're going to say to the box man, I've seen it happen with people. How come you're going to count that? You didn't count the one when I threw a hard 12 or something like that, and it didn't hit the wall. Don't do that. You're going to piss the guy off, and he's forever going to go after you about that. Okay? So just accept it in your practice session, write it down, and just continue tossing. This is practice. Do not quit on practice. I've seen guys get upset about it. That's a 5. I've seen guys have bad practice sessions and they give up. Oh, I'm just going to throw a random. This is all bullshit. That's what random throwers like to do. They like to argue with dice controllers. They call this bullshit. Don't listen to them. It's discouraging. They try to discourage you. I've had friends come over and try to randomly throw. Cool. That's their way. They know how to bet. But when it comes to trying to be a dice controller or a rhythm thrower or shooting the dice, the better way of trying to get your numbers, they dispute it. But you end up having better practice sessions because this is what we do. We practice, and these guys don't get it. That's a hard 8. Okay, that's a hard 8. So you could probably get more of these hard 8s, hard 10s, hard 12s, hard 4s if I set up on a hard way set. I'll probably try that on another video because, like I said, the most important thing I'm trying to teach you guys here is muscle memory on the soft toss. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. Yes, the dreaded 7 will come out every now and then, obviously. It happens in casinos too because the dreaded 7 comes out every 6 rolls, so they say in the book. But sometimes it's not going to translate to the casino floor, okay? A good session may not translate to the casino floor. A bad session may not translate to the casino floor. Sometimes you go to the casino, you have a wonderful time, but meanwhile, your practice sessions throughout the week were terrible. So please do not quit on your practice. And don't listen to people that are discouraging. If the stick man is not saying it and the box man is not saying it, why are people at the table get upset when you see a dice controller? That was an easy 6. Okay, don't do that to your fellow dice shooters. And I'll tell you why. We're all here to make money. Okay? That's your money on the table. Okay? We're here to make money. So don't discourage somebody who's taking a long time trying to set the dice. I prefer that you guys set the dice, and I'm going to show you in a second. Let me just toss. That hit the alligator skin. I did not like that throw. Came in too hard, but I am throwing from 12 foot out. That was a 4. I'm gonna leave the dice here. Let me mark my 4 over here, and then I'm gonna talk about something. Now I told you I want you guys to practice setting your dice. This is what I mean. If I don't, I never bought this stick to drag my thing, but that's okay. If you don't have this stick, shake the dice in your hand, release it on the table, make believe it got pushed to you, right? And now set your dice. There we go. We're already set. Okay? 6-3 on top with the 5-1 looking at. Okay. I prefer that you guys do this under 10 seconds, preferably under 7. I know that sometimes the dice will slip out your hand and you're going to fumble around with it and the whole 9. That's okay. Sometimes the box man doesn't say anything. Stick men don't say anything. Sometimes, with all the chattering that goes on at a table. But on occasion, there'll be, someone at the table like, come on, guy, let's get going, the whole 9. Don't get discouraged by that. You do what you do. Until you're told otherwise, you set the dice the best way you can. Just practice it. Once you understand what's on this side, what's on that side, what's underneath here and everything, setting the dice will come easy. It's just 5 minutes a day. You could set the dice and it'll come to you. Trust me. It's all about practicing, people. It's just like when you're playing sports, right? You want to get better at it. What do? You practice. Everything's about practice, people. That's why I say, don't get discouraged when you're throwing bad in your practice session. That didn't reach the wall. It was too soft of a toss for me. I'm not going to count it. Okay. That was a terrible toss. I leaned forward, but I was trying to get cute, and it was not a good toss. So we're going to do a do-over on that. All right. This is all practice. You could do these things at home. Okay. Little bit better. Easy 8. Okay, there we go. Okay. I think you guys can see that. All right, easy 8. All right. Now, when it comes to my betting strategies, remember when I said I'm a feel better? Let me give you an example. Let's say I toss the dice. I'm just going to throw this to the wall. Let's say I toss the dice. That's a 7. That's the come out roll. So you won, right? Excuse me. So you won. So you will win on your pass line, right? Oh, let me take this chip off. So that was a 7. And you had a chip on the pass line. That's the way I play, right? Minimum $10 table. So now you won. Okay. Let me just show you exactly how I do this. Shake it again. Hold on. All right. That's a 9, right? So now I still got my chip on the pass line because now that moves me to the 9. I don't think you guys can see it. I'm going to place the on button on the 9. And that's my point. I got to chase it. Now, when the game begins for me to try to get that point, being that it's a field number, it's actually excellent for me. I put my chip on a field number. I'm not even bothering with the comeback. And I know people are going to say, no, you got to put the chip on a comeback because let's say you roll a 6, you go to the 6. Let's say you roll a 5, you go to the 5. No, I don't want to put that many chips on the table. I don't do no iron cross. I've seen guys, they come out, and let me do a better example. So I already showed you exactly the way I bet. Okay. But I've seen guys, they'll throw a 5, then the on button goes to the 5. Then they start doing all types of stuff. They start like, okay, I'm going to put a comeback, give me the 6 and the 8. I'm just using examples. $25 on a 6 and 8 with a $1 return, right? So they're doing $12 on a 6, $12 on the 8. And then they start putting chips with the comeback. And then all of a sudden, the dreaded 7 comes out. So everything gets cleared out. Okay, you lost. Right? Okay, we cleared out your chips. You lost. We're going to turn the on button off. And a new game begins. So You lost $24 here, your $10 here, your $10 that you put on your fuel bet because you're a fuel bet better, and then whatever you had up here, right? So what was that? 24, 34, $44 came off the table. This is why I don't do that. When I begin, I do a pass line bet first. I wait till what happens. I don't care if it's a 5 or a 6 or 8 that comes out. I'm still going to put my chip on the field and I begin my betting. And always remember, guys, when the game is going on, you see this, the on button. Do yourself a favor. Be respectful of the players at the table. Wait till the game finishes. And if you see this, that's when you could start, getting into the game if that's what you want to do. Hey, Stickman, I want to play. What do I do? Okay, place your bets, blah, 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 blah. Make sure it's on the off button. If the guy rolled, if there's a game going on, the guy rolled, wait till everybody gets paid, okay? Wait till everybody starts placing bets and tell the Stickman, hey, I want in on the game. Can I place a bet? You'll take your money, put it where you want it, okay? Always remember that on button means there's a game going on. Be respectful. Don't be disrespectful. And when the game is off, you can start placing your bet, take your place at the table, whatnot. Preferably, I like to play at tables where it's less people. I'm just going to leave this here. That doesn't mean nothing. Like I said, we're not playing a game. We're practicing. All right. So if I made a mistake when I was talking, please let me know. Sometimes I could be rambling and I make mistakes. Okay. Ooh, that was a kickback because it hit the alligator skin. Listen, this is very difficult. Trying to soft toss it. Okay. That was an easy 8. Okay. Trying to soft toss it. So I was kind of rough there. Real rough. Okay. Right, let's continue. Right. Was a much better throw. Was a easy 10. Okay, easy 10. All right. The whole purpose of this video, we're trying to hit underneath the alligator skin. That's the whole purpose. Okay, that was the whole purpose. Is to hit underneath the alligator skin, or at least try to. It's a very difficult shot, especially when you're at a casino, you got loud music. When I'm practicing, I usually play loud music to give me that casino feel. And I got like YouTube videos going with live casino play. Like Hawaiian Craps Team is one group of guys I look at. When they go to Vegas, they sometimes have videos where they're playing, and I usually crank it up to give me that casino feel. But since I'm talking, I'm not going to do any of that. I like to throw. I just didn't like, I believe it was this one that hit the alligator skin, but at least we got a favorable number, right? Whole purpose is to set that dice, right? As long as you're setting that dice, you could get these favorable numbers. Don't listen to these random throwers. That was what, an easy 6? There are a lot of random throwers. They always dispute it. And, some of these casino tables, sometimes they're full of people, and you don't want to be throwing from 14 foot out. If you can't find a spot on the table, come back another time. All right. Okay, I like that toss. And again, I don't want too much spin. All right, that was an easy 10. All right, I'm just trying my best right now to try to get that muscle memory down of soft tossing. Okay, that's all we're trying to do here. Okay, this is not an actual game. Like I mentioned earlier, it may not translate to the casino floor. There's a lot of YouTube videos where guys are professional gamblers, professional craps players, and they will show you, techniques, betting strategies, and it's always wise to pay attention. And it could be somebody at the casino that will watch you play and maybe pull you to the side and say, hey, try this, try that. Doesn't hurt to listen. It's always good. There's good people out there too. Ooh, that was too hard of a throw, but we got a favorable number. Why do we get favorable numbers? Even though it was a 5, you didn't crap out. But why do we get this? Because you're setting your dice. That's something that random throwers, they don't buy into it, but they don't understand why we do that, right? They don't understand. Let's be real. They don't understand. You just wipe my nose a little bit. I got a runny nose because the allergies kick in. I never had allergies as a kid, but as I got older, it's crazy. I like that one. Came in soft. It was a little bit of a line drive, but some casinos allow it. Boxman just wants you to hit the wall. This was an optical illusion. They both hit the wall, but it was under the alligator skin. And look at the numbers that came out, a 10. So that's fantastic because I'm going to feel better and I made money. Would have been great if I would have had a hard 10 because those horn bets or those one roll bets, every now and then, if you want to throw a $10 chip, you can't see it from my camera angle, but if you want to throw a $10 chip on one of these one roll and it comes out, man, it's $100 right there or so, right? That's an easy 6. All right. Okay. All right. There you go. I think you guys could clearly see my numbers that are coming out because I have to, from the top part, you won't see it, but I have to flip the dice over. That's the reason why I rolled the dice so you guys can see what came out on top. So now, like I said, this is all practice. That was a lot of spin on it, but look what happened, guys. Because of the way I set the dice, and look at the number that came out. Okay? That's the way I set it on the top. 6-3 came out. So this is why we set the dice. This is the thing that dice controllers try to tell random throwers. That we do this because we're hoping. We're not the Dom Larigios. We're not like that Breaking Vegas documentary where he was calling out his numbers. I mean, wow, that's crazy. If you could do that, wow. But this is why we set the dice, okay? Because we want favorable numbers. That was an easy 6. You know what was crazy about that throw? I don't know if you caught that maybe on your camera or, on your YouTube channel. If you hit that like and subscribe button, you get to rewind it, slow motion it, and it was a 6. It was an easy 6, but this dice actually spun on top of this one. That was crazy, and that's the reason why a stacked dice set like this, that when I throw it, that's probably the reason why it did that. It just piggybacked off the other dice. Came out as an easy 6, so that's a good thing. Again, sometimes I get a lot of 6s and 8s at home. Then I get to the casino, and I guess because it's a bouncier table, the numbers are in my favor. That was an easy 8. Hit the alligator skin. Did not like that toss, but I'm tossing from 12 foot out. Let me just show you another thing that I do at home. Yes, I do measure out my table because it's a makeshift table, and this is what I use. Okay. All right, this is what I use. So I begin here to measure, and I go all the way out. Try to keep it straight here, buddy. All right, here we go. I try to measure it all the way out to give me a 14-foot table. Okay, so yes, that's what I do. Okay, so that was an easy 8. So these are the little things I do at home to help me practice. All right, there we go. I practice every day, guys, and it's really to show you that, by practicing, you're going to be a better dice controller if that's what you want to do, or rhythm thrower, something that I like to do. I try to hit again my landing spots over here. I always center because of the box, right? It's not a craps table, okay, but it gives me a better chance at the casino because I'm tossing like I have this center zone, right? Now I don't want to hit this again. I repeat this. I want to hit underneath the alligator skin. This little, I don't know if that's an inch, but this little inch of a wall underneath the alligator skin, that's what I'm aiming for. And the only way to get that, by the way, you have to soft toss it, and gently at that. Because if you throw it hard, and I've seen people flick the dice, it's going to hit that back alligator skin. It's going to be random. Hey, that was a 7. I'm going to count that as a 7, okay? That's the second 7 we thrown. So I'm going to count this because we were on a decent roll. And sometimes the casino's going to say, I know that I always tell you guys to hit the wall, but if you roll a 7, I'm counting it if it doesn't hit the wall. Because I counted the other ones that didn't hit the wall. Why would I not count this one? This was close enough, and I ended up getting the dreaded 7. So we're going to count it, right? It's just practice, and it just motivates you to be a better thrower. That's all it does. Okay? Now, I know people right now are saying, okay, you crapped out, so what do? Do you go to a 7 dice set all around? No, that's not me. I could go to a hard way, or I could go to what I always do, which is my 6-3 on top. More likely I'll be 6-3 on top again. Because if I do roll a 7 on the come out, hey, I win. But this is just practice session. That was a 2. Snake eyes, right? That's what they call it, snake eyes. Now, if this was a real casino, you crapped out. If you had your chip on a don't pass, you would win. Mine was on a pass line, you lost. But we're practicing soft tossing, and we're trying to see if we can eliminate the 7. That's what this practice session is about. But because it was snake eyes, that is a craps number. So you will lose, okay? But if you was on a point, you would win, okay? It would pay double. If it was on a dome pass, you would win on this toss, okay? And if you're going to put one on the dome pass, you could risk it and say, well, I want to even it out. I know I'll lose here, but I won because I had a chip here. There's people that do that. They arbitrage their bet, and that's okay. So that was a 2. It's going to be in blue because the only number we're going to document here in red is the 7. I hope you guys are enjoying my content. Again, if you think I'm making mistakes, leave it in the comment section. Much appreciated. Hit the like and subscribe button. I'm Casino Pete. If you see me at the casino, tell me what you think. I love this throw. It's crazy, right? That's 2 craps numbers in a row. Actually, 3 in a row. The 1 and the 2. But again, it's about not getting that dreaded 7. So, all right. So it's a 3. Okay. Again, if you was at a point, it's a field number. Okay. So was the 2. If it was a come out roll, it's a craps number, and you would lose unless you arbitrage your bet and you have one on the don't pass bar. You'd be okay. And there will be people at the casino putting, don't let it distract you, and don't even comment. I've seen guys say, hey, you put a don't pass bar bet. Don't get involved with other people. I'm a lone wolf. I like to play for me, not for others. Although we're all playing for each other, because if I do good, guess what? People are making money on me. Okay? Just like I hope I can make money on them. I really like that throw. It was soft, and it went right here underneath the alligator skin, and it gave me a Yo 11, another field number. And this is why I say you have to practice. So by practicing so much, you're going to realize that you're going to get favorable numbers. Okay. Hopefully, when you get to the casino, that muscle memory kicks in for you, and that's all you care about, right? Here we go again. Too much of a spin, but yeah, we got back-to-back Yo 11s. Okay, too much of a spin, that'll happen. Sometimes it hits landmines when it comes back onto the field. All right, so that was a Yo 11. Okay, sometimes that'll happen, guys. It is a field number, so I'm happy about that, right? That's two back-to-back Yo 11s, man. If this was a real casino, I'm making some bucks here today. Even though I crapped out twice with the sevens, but I'm making some bucks. The dreaded 7. Just when I was getting all confident, I get the dreaded 7. Okay. There's a lot of spin there, too. So I get the dreaded 7. That's the third one today. Okay, I'll mark that in red. There we go. There are a lot of great dice controllers out there. There's a video with color up against King Dice. Two guys that I watch a lot on YouTube. And they had a contest one time about who could toss it better, or who's gonna outwin the other. And the random thrower won. Color up won. He beat King Dice twice. Wasn't one of his better days for King Dice, but I can tell you this: he does instruct people. He has great videos. And listen, he's here to give you guys an edge. He wants you guys to be advantage players. Okay, so don't be so negative on people on YouTube who are trying to teach you something. They might just have a bad day, just like me. I could have a bad practice session, okay? Doesn't mean you quit on what you do. There's an easy 8. That was a much better toss than the last one. And I ended up getting a favorable numbers. I'm trying not to get too much spin. And I really want that dice to almost like to come to a slow stop. Because as you can see, as it's coming to a slow stop, that your favorable number will come out. That was a lot of spin, and we got a hard 12. Okay, we got a hard 12, and that would have paid on some felts, it's triple. On my felt is double. That would have paid double, and those are tosses I wish I could do at casinos consistently. So we got a hard 12 out of that one. Okay, a hard 12 out of that one. That was underneath the board. Came in a little bit rough, but we got it underneath the board, and it gave us a 3, another field number. So that's what I want to start seeing, field numbers coming out. Casino Pete. Hit that like and subscribe button. Much appreciated, so I could show you more content. And hopefully I could get popular on this channel. I'm still in my amateur stage, but if I could get popular on this channel, I could present it to management at the casinos, and maybe they'll look at the content and say, okay, we like what you're doing. Yeah, we don't mind if you set up your camera and record at our casino. It's just to give them a good name. I mean, if they're a good casino, give them a good name. Oh, I love that throw. Did you see how that landed? It was a soft toss. And then this one kind of like played around underneath the alligator skin spinning, and it gave me a hard 10. That was awesome. That was awesome. The hard 12 before would have paid, 30 for 1. This one pays 8 for 1. And man, that's big bucks right there, man. That's big bucks right there when you get throws like that. Holy cow. And who knows? There's a lot of people that throw one roll bets, right? One roll bets, and don't, you'll see on the horn bets. You can't see it on my camera, but you'll see a lot of these bets, and they get these numbers, and oh man, they're jumping up and down. So happy for people when they do that, and it's great if I could roll for them, and I give them that. There's people that'll throw. I had a guy once throw, no joke, $100 on a hard 12. I didn't see it, but he was screaming as soon as I threw. I didn't know what was. Look, another hard 10, another hard 10. Awesome. And this guy started screaming, right? I thought something happened at the casino. I was just concentrating the fact that I threw that to win my $10 on a field number to double my money. This guy was screaming like, holy shit, holy shit. And wow, two back-to-back hard 10s, two 8-for-1s. So this guy was screaming. He had $100. He just threw that $100 chip on the hard 12, and he won $3,000 on that hit. And to his credit, afterwards, when I finished my session and I was walking away happy with my $200 or whatnot, he came up to me and he said, "Hey, buddy, come back here." I thought I did something wrong. I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Here, yeah." He gave me $100. He didn't have to, but he gave me 100, and that was awesome. That was awesome. And he told me that I had a good session, and that he made money off of me. He said, with the $3,000 hit and the other, well, how much did I think he won another $200 or $300, betting on me. He gave me 100, and listen, that was great. I wasn't asking for any money, and he gave me 100, and I gave it to my wife so she could play her slot machines. And I came in too hard, but we ended up getting an easy 6 out of it. Okay, there we go. Sometimes professional craps players will, let's say there are a lot of chips let's say there's a lot of chips, all right, on a table and whatnot. You could practice like this too. All right, you could practice like this too. Okay, let's say there's chips, chips, chips all around the table. So let's see how we do with this. All right, let's see how we do with this. I'm just throwing those chips out there. Let's see how we do with landmines. They're called landmines. I love the names that these professional craps players or casinos they name this stuff: snake eyes, landmines. It's crazy. Came in too hard, but we got a 9. One time at Mount Airy Casino, this is a 9, by the way. Hope you guys can see it now that I put the landmines out there. That's a 9. One time at Mount Airy, one of my dice hit the backboard. One landed here, like one was here. The other one landed on top of a stack of chips, man. The guy was like, "What?" It was crazy. I'll never forget that, man. Everybody was cracking up at the table like, "What? What are the odds?" And I was like, "I wish I would have bet on that." All right. So, yeah. So we're going to continue here. All right. That was an 5, 5, 4, 1, 5, 4, 1, 5. Okay, let me flip that over. There you go. 4, 1, 5. Okay. That's the whole purpose of the practice session, 12-foot out, stickman right. My previous videos, if you guys ever looked them up, they're kind of amateurish. And then I made the mistake when I was talking. I said, "Oh, I'm standing stickman left because I'm a lefty." No, no, no. You stand stickman right because of your lefty. If you're righty, you stand stickman left, okay? So I'm on the right side of the table, standing next to the stickman at 10-foot out at the casino. But at home, I'm 12-foot out, stickman right, because I'm a lefty. And I always lean forward to make my throw shorter. If you got long arms like king dice, I wish I could tell King Dice, you got long arms, buddy. Lean your body a little bit more forward, man. Make that throw shorter. But he's happy. He's happy the way he throws. He makes his money. Okay, that flipped all the way around. We ended up getting back to back 5. Okay, 4-1-5. Again, what did I say? Some of the tossing is going to be. This is really hard to try to soft toss it and get it underneath the alligator skin. This is hard. This is why I do this every day at home. This is real hard. You just get a sip of water. I'm getting a little sore throat. There we go. But yeah. So it's not easy. It's not easy. Okay. But if you practice, then you're making it better for yourself in the near future when you go to the casino. That was a hard 6. That was a nice soft toss. You're not hearing that hard. I mean, I don't want to hear that hard because that means you're throwing it too hard and it's always going to hit that alligator skin. This was a nice soft toss. Gave me a hard 6. All right. Gave me a hard 6. This was a casino. The guy that was playing the 6 and 8 is jumping up and down. The beauty of this game, too, when you're at a casino, you feel like a rock star when things are going your way. And I know there's a lot of dice shooters out there that, when you're doing this in front of a group of women or a table that's crowded and you're doing well, oh, man, that's the greatest feeling. That was an easy 9. I say easy 9, but that's the only way you're gonna get a 9. There's nothing easy about it, right? There's no hard way 9s. It's just a 9. It's not an easy 9. It's just a 9. See, this is why I tell people I'm still an amateur, man. I'm a regular Joe. All right. But yeah, getting back to makes you feel like a rock star, right? When you're at a casino, you just know you're gonna do well. And I remember in the Breaking Vegas documentary about the dice dominator, Dom Lariggio said it feels like you're the good cowboys coming into a Western town and you're there to eliminate the bad guys, right? And that's how you feel. It's like, okay, the casinos think that I can't do this, but I'm going to show them up. It's a great feeling. Not going to count that. Even though it was an easy 6, not going to count that. This one never made it to the wall. So, see if I could eliminate some of the hair that gets on this table. So I'm not going to count that one. That one never reached the wall. Boxman probably will not count that either, especially if you're on a good roll. They'll do everything to discourage you to make money off of them. Some boxmen really don't care. They just want you to have a good time. They know they're going to make their money on some bad shooters. So they're not going to pester you. Not like that documentary where they were pestering the Dominator, where the stick man was like, hey, you ain't going to make that throw. And I'm saying to myself, well, that can't be true because stick man want to make money. They want you to make money because they get good tips. Always tip the stick man at the end of the session or wait till you finish play throughout the time you were there and then give them a nice tip. Always, when you get the chips, put a couple of them in your pocket so you don't forget to tip the guy. I've seen guys get angry. Oh, dreaded 7. I've seen guys get angry and they walk away and I'm not tipping. Do they tip us when we lose? I've seen that. And, if you're going to be that type of guy, don't go to the table because that's like bad mojo, bro. Like you really want to be friendly to these guys. These guys ain't here to mess you up, all right? They want to make money, okay? That's why they became dealers. They want to make money. This is where they make their money. So don't be an ass to these guys, Just put a couple of chips. listen, if you're there with $500, put a $25 chip in your pocket, and at the end of playing, just give them the $25 chip. They'll appreciate it, win or lose. If you're winning and you win well, you know, whatever you want to give the guy, all right. But tip the dealers, man, because they're on your side. They want to make money. That was an easy 8. Hit the alligator skin, but like I said, right? You want favorable numbers. Okay, that was an 8. I wish I could go on long rolls like some of these great throwers, right? I've seen guys throw in the 30s, seen guys roll in the 30s, I should say. I've seen people go as high as 40. I saw a YouTube channel where a guy actually did that. Bro, can you imagine? All right. So I've seen guys do well. I have. All right. I've seen that. My rolls, I'm averaging mid-teens, 15, 17. All right. Nothing to really brag about. I've hit a couple of mid-20s, but I wish I could do that all the time on a consistent basis. This is why I practice. Okay, that was another 8. Hit the alligator skin. It's kind of a hard toss too. So, yeah, I wish I could go into the mid-20s on average, but right now I think I'm averaging mid-teens. I'm somewhere between 15 and 17. I think I had one time where I got it to like 23 or 27. I think one time. That was it. That was a one-time thing. Made some money. I made some really bad commentary on one of my videos talking about that. I rolled blah 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 and made $20 out of it. I was so stupid when I was saying those things because nobody's gonna roll that long and make $20. You're gonna make money, okay? I wanted to say 200 for some reason. I was rambling so much I didn't catch myself and I said $20. So this is why I said at the beginning of the video that I will make mistakes on my commentary, okay? And it's okay as long as you guys catch it and put it in your commentary. I appreciate it. Hit the like and subscribe button for Casino Pete. Hope you enjoy these practice sessions. Hope to keep showing and showing. Oh, this is the third 8 in a row. I don't know if that's a good sign, but if this was a live casino, the guy that put the numbers on his 6 and 8 is jumping up and down, probably kissing his wife right now or his girlfriend. He's probably looking at me, giving me the thumbs up, like wink. Like keep rolling like that, buddy. And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm gonna feel better. I want to get numbers too. That wasn't too bad. This one came in exactly the way I wanted. This one landed a little bit harder, but it still went underneath. And we ended up with a 5-4-1. So that's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. That's what you want to see. You want to see those type of numbers come out. As the more you practice, the better it's going to be for you guys to roll these numbers. That's an easy 10. All right. Always remember, it rarely translates to the casino floor, your practice sessions. But if anything you get out of it is the muscle memory of the fact that you were doing something to give you that muscle memory you want. Okay? And as long as you get that muscle memory, you're going to be a better tosser at the casino, whether it's a bouncy felt. You always have to make the adjustments, okay? You always have to make the adjustments. All right? And you don't really necessarily have to invest in a $9,000 craps table or $5,000. I mean, it's great if you have the money and you have the space, but that's an easy 8. You could invest in a small box like this. Cost me $125. I got the book as well as 2 DVDs from the Golden Touch group. Frank Scabletti and Dom Lorigio created this Golden Touch. Okay, that's what the documentary was on, those 2 guys. Okay, so I invested in it back during COVID, practice every day, stayed in my house. 3 years of playing in casinos. So I do go out there, I do make money. It's not great money, but it's enough to pay bills, stuff like that. I don't try to get myself banned either. Okay. I'm not going to go bragging. I'm not going to go playing big. I bet small to win big. That was an 8. Okay. I bet small to win big. All right. Just thought I'd let you guys know that if you see me at the casino, just give me a heads up, like that you're going to be there or something on your comments. But if you see me at the casino, just, hey, I watch your stuff on YouTube, man. Great stuff. And, stuff like that. Or maybe you might see some flaws in me and say, hey, I want to correct what you're doing. You're doing good in your practice, but you're doing this wrong and I want to correct you. That's cool too. I appreciate that. If you guys see me, just, shout out would be nice. That didn't reach the wall. That was real soft. That didn't reach the wall. Not going to count that. Even though it was a 10, not going to count that. Throwing 12 foot out, stickman right. Something that I made a mistake on one of my previous videos. Never told anybody about it. So I'm correcting myself. I saw the video and I'm like, why do you keep saying stickman left when I'm throwing? I know I'm left-handed, but it's not stickman left, it's stickman right. And those are the mistakes I make. I like that toss. And look at the way it landed, guys. The way I set it up is the way I landed. See the 1 and a 5 here, right? But watch when I turn it over. There it is, the way I set it up. Is that awesome? Just because it was a soft toss, hit underneath the alligator skin, and I get that favorable number. There you go. If you're a random thrower, I want you guys to realize what just happened, all right? So I'm throwing it back at you guys. You guys like to criticize the dice controllers, then I'm throwing it back at you guys. So there it is. All that practice, and look at the way it landed. It's awesome. That's dreaded 7. Got the dreaded 7. All right, guys. We're going to end this session. Okay. That was the dreaded 7. All right. We're going to end this session. Let me pause the video for a second, and I'll show you my whiteboard and how we looked and how we did. All right. Let me just pause this real quick. Okay, guys, that's how it looked on the whiteboard. I tallied it. I tallied it up. Tallied, tongue twister, and that's what it looks. Right? I threw 5 7s. There were 43 other numbers marked in blue. There were 48 tosses. That's how it looked. Hope you guys really enjoyed that practice session. I'm going to continue practicing. Usually I have like 3 hours of practice I put in for the day. I can afford to because I'm retired. Okay, so if you're not retired, just put in a good hour's work, maybe a half hour of tossing the dice. So there were 48 tosses. We did a lot of talking in between, so that's why it was less. Usually I throw about 300 tosses during a practice session. But you also have to simulate the fact that when you're practicing, always understand that you're going to get the dice back like within a minute and a half or maybe 3 minutes in between a toss at the casino. Reason for it is because once you finish your toss, they got to pay people, they got to collect chips, stuff like that. People want to buy into the game. Okay. So always factor that in. Um, but you could practice that at home, right? If you have a bad back, I have a lower lumbar situation with my back. I usually take a break during the day. If I'm not doing anything or I don't have any obligations for the day, I will, will practice for the almost the entire day because it's fun. And I usually take a break here and there just to help my back. If you're at the casino and it's a problem, you could get fatigued and your tosses could be really bad. That's something that I want to emphasize to a lot of guys my age. I'm going to be 58, so I'm getting up there and I'm not a young spring chicken. Okay. I do have back pain, and sometimes it's hard for me to stand at a table with a lot of players because by the time that dice comes back to me, I've been standing there a long time. Can you imagine if there's 7 other people at that table, especially a 14-foot table, and during that time you didn't get that dice back because they went on long rolls? Yeah, your back's gonna hurt, and you might have to walk away from that table just to take some time off, even if you're doing well, right? You could be having a great time at the table, but if your back's gonna hurt, then yeah, take a break. You don't want fatigue to ruin your tossing of the dice at the table, right? And like I said, find a comfortable grip. Okay, when after you set the dice, right? Set the dice to the dice setting you want. I know a lot of people go with the hard way. I go with the 6-3 on top. Some people go with the 3V set. Some people on the come out roll put the all 7 set. And that's okay. Those are professionals. Okay, they know what they're doing. I'm using the 6-3. I just fell in love with that set because when I was at the casino one time, I just wanted to try something different. I was losing that day, and ended up getting even. Getting my money back. Did not make a profit that day, but I went with 500 and got my 500. I left with 500, so that was pretty cool. If you guys want to form a team, you guys can do that. Would I recommend it? No, because by forming a team, you might get a couple of guys that are not good throwers, and you're the one making money for the team, and you have to throw all that money into the pot, and you find out that you're the one doing all the hard work and making money for them, and you're even splitting the money with everybody, and you feel like you were better than they were, or vice versa. Maybe they were the better shooters and you sucked that day, and you're still getting your money back. Meanwhile, the guy feels like, hey, I did all that hard work, I should get more of the money. So I wouldn't recommend forming a team. Sometimes it goes bad, and if you do, put a contract out on these guys, right? Like, in other words, all of you sign a contract saying that the money has to always get split at the end, evened out at the end of the night. There's no taking less or more. Everything is evened out. Make sure everyone brings money with them to the casino. If you bring 200, they got to bring 200. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't recommend forming a team. I'm a lone wolf. I bring 500. I bet small to win big. I'm going to feel better. I'm not going to throw all these chips onto the table and find out that I'm a crap out and everything that can you imagine? I've always heard this phrase: if it stays, it pays. I mean, if it pays, it stays. Said it in reverse, but if it pays, it stays. Right? I've always heard that phrase, and there's a lot of gamblers out there that take chances. They bring lots of money. I've seen guys come in with like $10,000 in their pocket, and it seems like every small bet is $100 bet. And then when after the come out roll, if they go to the point number, and they begin to do the iron cross, the odds, all types of stuff, and then they crap out on the very next throw. So they lost a good $1,000 to $2,000 on just one throw. Um, I mean, if you have the money to do something like that and you're not going to worry about it, great. Um, I always tell people gamble with money you don't need. I do it. I just have a fun account. My bills are paid, and I'm thankful for that, and that's what makes it easier for me to gamble. But lots of times you will get people that just forget that, and unfortunately, they put themselves in bad situations, and they could ruin themselves. But anyway, this was an okay session. It was just to, I was going to practice today regardless, and I just wanted to put it on film. That's it. I just wanted to show you guys how I practice at home, because I know there'll be times you'll see me at the casino and you guys may want to come up to me and say, "Hey, you're Casino Pete. I see your sports betting content. I see your slot machine content. And I don't see, what you do at casinos with craps tables." And reason for it, like I said in my video, is I'm not allowed to record anything at the casino. I just get lucky with slots because it's easier to hide the phone when I'm recording. And so I wish I could record, but maybe if I get more popular, hit that like and subscribe button, and maybe I have a chance. Maybe I could speak to management, sit down with them, and say, just trying to give you guys a good name, nothing more. If I have a bad session, I'm not gonna, uh, uh, make say anything negative. I just want to be positive with all of this. It's just to show craps players that by practicing at home, and then how it could translate, or if by practicing at home you become a better player at the casino. It's just to give the casino a positive image. That's pretty much it. But I thank you a lot for tuning in today and watching my channel. Like I said, my previous videos I made mistakes. This one was a practice session trying to show you the soft toss to avoid hitting the alligator skin. You want to hit underneath it. All right. So I made mistakes on my other videos. I never heard any commentary. So, in my mind, I'm thinking, hey, I'm doing something right. But I found the mistakes because I'm getting kind of better at it now. The more I go to casinos and play, I'm getting better at this. I do make money when I'm at the casino. I'm not looking to be a millionaire or the greatest ever. I don't want to get that type of attention. I don't want to bring that type of attention to me because you could get banned. So I'm trying my best, guys. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to bring you more practice sessions like this. It just makes sense, right? To show you guys. I know I have one camera angle. It was to show how the dice was landing. Can't really show you too much of a wide angle. I got too much of my personal stuff laying around with boxes and my address on it, or mail and stuff like that. So I have to be very careful. All right. But overall, thank you. Thank you very much for being patient and enjoying my channel. So hope to hear from you guys, and hit that like and subscribe button for the 100th time. Please help me get views. Maybe I could get more popular, and you guys could see more practice sessions. I love my practice sessions, and I love to share it with you guys, whether they're bad or good. It's to share with you guys so you guys can go out there and have a better time at the casino. And hopefully we can all have a better time. We all want to make money. Let's help each other out. And for you random throwers that are always criticizing dice controllers and rhythm throwers, look, if it works for you as a random thrower, fantastic. But don't be discouraging to dice controllers. We're all here to make money. When we're on the table, we're here to make money for you and myself and whatnot. All right. So let's keep it real. Okay. So have fun out there, guys. And thank you for tuning in. And I'll hear from you guys soon.